Awesome. So since it is just the three of us today, this should go pretty quickly. I'm just going to give a fair warning that some of this is going to be kind of back to basics, but at the same point, there's hopefully some refresher stuff in there, if you will, that could be kind of good to think about, and then also maybe some stuff that we haven't really thought about before. I know when I was putting this together, Guild actually puts this together, and I made some additions to it. But I know when I was putting it together, I was like, oh, it's not necessarily something that I would have thought of, but it absolutely makes sense. So today is really strictly just about lead generation. I have four more of these to go, which is going to be about we'll have one about social media, one about different market opportunities, selling ROI, right? Your return on your investment, how to really show people that it's worth it to buy a house, right? We know it, but sometimes we can't show it the best. I know I don't always do the best job at that. And then, of course, just creating those partnerships, whether it's with me, other people, things like that, that are really going to be driving business. That's the biggest thing. I mean, as a loan officer, when I first started out, the the easy realtors, the newer realtors that didn't really know what they were doing, they were like the easy ones to get in with, but they didn't really drive a lot of business because they were just getting in and getting fresh and kind of figuring everything out. So it's really making sure that we've got our circles right. So those are the next four that I'll be doing over the next couple of weeks. So just kind of keep an eye out for those. I'll be posting them on Facebook, sending email blasts out, things like that. So today, lead generation. So we're going to talk a little bit about different lead sources, how to ask for the business, and then some marketing plans as far as like how we can better market ourselves, what we can be looking at to kind of help with the lead generation. The biggest thing that we want to really be doing, especially thinking about the new year, if you guys have not done any goal planning yet with your team, let me know. We have an awesome preset goal planning like system that we can work with you guys as agents, as teams, however you guys want to do it, individually even, that really helps you kind of set your goals for the new year. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I want you guys thinking about is what is your goal, how you're going to get there. And we all know that if you want to hit your goals, you have to have a direction, you have to have a plan. So hopefully you guys can get some information from this to kind of structure that path. Think, like I said, some of it's going to be a refresher, but definitely some of it's going to be, hopefully some of it's going to be new, to really kind of think outside the box a little bit, think about where we can go in the new year to grow your business. My goal is to help you guys grow your business. And of course, write great loans. So one thing that I have to go back to quite a bit, personally even is who are your lead sources, right? So typically speaking, you're going to have two different lead sources, your client to client referrals, where you've got current clients that you're working with or past clients that you already worked with, but then also business partners. Business partners is we're going to focus on that a little bit more so than current and past clients because sometimes that's kind of the low hanging fruit. But to really build and grow your business, we also want to have new business partners. So obviously there's the builders, lenders, financial advisors, the whole list there. But some of the out of the box ones, and it's interesting. It's terrible. I feel like it's terrible that I have to say this, but divorce attorneys can be a phenomenal source of business because if the couple jointly owns a house and they get divorced, one either has to sell the house or buy the other person out of the house, and then that person's going to be looking to buy a house. So, divorce attorneys has been a good contact for me to have and for me to help realtors grow just because I do know some unique ways around a lot of situations that people don't think about when they're getting divorced, that realtor or that agent, sorry, that attorneys don't know about either because they don't think about the next step in buying a house. So if you guys want to hear more about that too, let me know. But yeah, divorce attorneys can be a really good place to get some good referrals. And then this was very unique for me too, some additional ones to consider. So relocation companies, HR managers, if you guys, and I know Guild, we actually have a program that we can work with employers to give their employees some discounts on buying a house. So if you know of companies, that have 20, 50, 100 employees at it, and you can get in with the HR manager, I'd love to help you guys grow your business by helping companies out in their home buying process. The city leaders, that's obviously a hard one sometimes to get behind. But if you know someone that knows someone, getting in with them, when we talk about lead sources and city leaders, it's not necessarily that they are going to be a lead source. However, our entire income base is based on our sphere of influence, our the people around us. And so getting in with city leaders, I also think about the social media aspect of it, being able to go to different events out there, being able to talk with people, work with people, get your name out there, because the more that you are known, the better success you're going to have. Bankers and credit unions can be a great option because banks and credit unions, typically speaking, their clients are more or less faithful to them. A lot of times they go there and they're like, hey, we're thinking about buying a house. Can we even afford one? When it comes to people with banks and credit unions, I mean, yes, there are obviously lenders like myself that are not a bank or a credit union, but some of the better, the I don't want to say necessarily more well off, but a lot of times the more qualified buyers will go, they're learning to go to their bank or their credit union first to see if they can get approved. Leasing agents at apartment complexes, and then even HOA offices, because at an HOA, they, not always, depends on the HOA, but sometimes they have to get permission to sell, or there's different requirements. And so having a good contact with an HOA president, HOA, having cards in your HOA office, things like that can be really beneficial. And then there's the advertising lead sources as well, right? The easy ones, open houses, social media, your website, your CRMs, doing email campaigns. But then there's the ones that you really are going to pay for a little bit more as well. The digital and print marketing, not going to be quite as successful. Your Zillow leads, not necessarily going to be quite as successful. And then the different lead generating services. So just kind of going into 2026, looking at these different lead sources, it's right now, it's a great time to say, hey, what worked last year? Where did my business come from? Where can I dive in? Where can I really dig in and get more out of this? But also, where can I expand? What else can I be doing better? So now I want to talk a little bit about asking for the business, because it can just be uncomfortable. I actually went into ChatGPT. We can't necessarily specifically use ChatGPT, but I went into Copilot and did some AI searches on how to better ask for business. And it's so tricky. I'll talk about it a little bit, but you can kind of, it's so easy to do the soft ask, the hey, if you know of anyone. The soft ask is great, but it kind of just it kind of goes, in one ear out the other. People don't really think about it too much. And then there's a hard ask, but then sometimes that sounds too salesy. And so it's kind of trying to find that balance there. And a lot of that is going to be some trial and error, but we're going to kind of look at some different ways to help you get that business as well. Your best opportunity, no matter what, is going to be your first check-in after closing. That can be a week, a month, the closing date, a month after, or, the move-in date, a month after the move-in date. Say, hey, how's the move going? But you definitely want to, it's weird, but you want to fish for compliments. You want to say, hey, I'm just curious. How did you feel that transaction went? Did you feel like I did my job? I'm always looking to improve. You can, bring it back on yourself. Hey, I'm always looking to improve. Do you feel like I did my job well? Is there anything that you wish could have gone differently? And you get those answers. More often than not, people are not going to tell you that you did a bad job. They're going to tell you the good things. So what that does is mentally that is bringing them, hey, they were good, they were good, they were good. They start loving on you in their own head. And then you can kind of take it away from the compliment side of things and say, hey, are you guys all moved in yet? Share a personal story about the last time you moved. Like my wife and I, every time that I make that kind of pre-first payment call for people, I always try to make that about 10 days before they have to make their first payment. I'm like, hey, did you guys get all moved in yet? And they're like, yeah, we're mostly there. I was like, did you get all unpacked yet? And they're like, yeah, we're working through that. And I always make the joke, and it's terrible. But I kid you not, once again, last week I found a box and I was like, oh, forgot I had that. We moved in 4 years ago. And so people always laugh, trying to bring in that humor, but you can go in, you can fish for the compliments, get their brain thinking, oh, hey, they were a great agent. And then you can kind of take that around, take that back, like, hey, no longer fishing for compliments, no longer looking to help, looking for a lead. And that's what you can also do, the hard ask or the soft ask for referrals. And then you can go into, back, putting it back on them. How's the move going? How's the new house? Stuff like that. Obviously, I say obviously, somebody was very surprised by this, that I talked to one time, but our goal is to build relationships, right? That's what we're going to, that's where you guys, we are going to thrive in this industry, right? You want to position yourself as the trusted advisor, not just a salesperson. You don't want to just close the loan and say, or, close the deal, close on the house and say, hey, great job, great working with you. It was such a pleasure, we'll catch you later, and then never actually talk to them later. So you want to make sure that you're staying top of mind. Regular, meaningful touch points so clients think of you first when a need arises. We'll talk about that a little bit. I've actually even kind of considered doing like a realtor masterminds group, where we just kind of, get a whole, whoever wants to join on, just, hey, this has been working, but I know some of it's trade secrets too. So don't know if I need you guys giving up your own trade secrets. But staying top of mind, I mean, there's different ways that you can do that. We'll talk about a few of them, but monthly newsletters about the market, annual reviews of their house. Hey, guess what? Your house appreciated by 4%. It's now worth about this much this year. The hey, are y'all moved in yet? Birthdays, Christmas cards, everything like that. Make sure, try to make it as meaningful and as customized as possible, because then you're not just doing another email blast. It's not that email blasts aren't good, but when you can also add that personal touch, you will stay top of mind. Make sure that you guys are providing value, right? You're sharing insights, tools, resources that can really help them feel informed and supported. So when I think about providing value, that kind of goes back to that, hey, your home appreciated, it's worth about this much now, right? You have a ton of, they've been in the house for 5 years. Hey, check out how much equity you have in your house. Hope everything's going well. And when you guys are doing all of this and you're staying in front of your people, you're providing them with value, you're giving them knowledge, right? And to everyone, the old saying, knowledge is power. That is what's going to create more referral opportunities. It's going to make it easier for your clients to refer you without feeling pressured. You're always in front of them, always making them feel like they're being taken care of, always making them feel like they know what's going on, but you're always in front of them and they don't feel all that pressured. So here's some just couple different ways to kind of keep those conversations alive. These are some things that I like to do with my clients as well. Like I said, about 10 days before their first payment, I just reach out and, hey, how's the move coming? Are you all unpacked? Do you guys have any questions for me? Things like that. And are there any fun updates? Did you paint every room in the house? Apparently, wallpaper's coming back. You know, Different questions, just checking in, couple times throughout the year, right? The 6 month mark, the 1 year mark, the 2 year mark as you go down the road. This is where the email blast, the homeowner tips, the email blast can be very nice. Like, hey, fall is coming around. Are you ready to pick up all those leaves? Here's some tips of local, or here's local people that can come. If you put the leaves on the road, they'll come and pick it up. I don't know if up in Harrison you guys can burn leaves in your yard still, but my neighbor tells me how great it used to be when you could burn leaves no matter how bad your house smelled. Um, Life events. I actually heard this from an agent that I worked with one time. And so I don't mind sharing this, but he sends a birthday card out. He has like on his intake form, if you will. Hey, do you have any kids? What's your family? What are their birthdays? We like to, and he lets them know like, hey, this is why I want to do it. I want to keep up with you guys. I want you, I want to work with you guys, not just here, but I want to, be with you guys throughout your life. Um, and he said that every time that he sends a birthday card out to one of his clients' kids, every single time they are reaching back out to him. And because he's a realtor, oftentimes that's thank you so much for the birthday card for my kid. How's the housing market? And there's your door in every single time. Hey, I can put together something specific for you, your house, or the market's doing great. However you guys want to do it. Thanks so much, for reaching out, things like that. And then, of course, neighborhood news, sharing local events, new developments. You know, new developments isn't always the best thing to do, but as far as new construction builds, but if it's just developments about the community, like, hey, here's what's happening in the community, here's something really cool, right? We're getting a new or so I don't know what's going on in Jenison lately, but we had Wendy's that darn near burned down. Somebody drove through a Dollar Tree, and there's one other thing that happened the other day too. And it's so not necessarily those things that you want to highlight, but throwing different things out there and just saying, showing your support for different things as well can be huge. And then some follow-up ideas after you guys have closed, right? It's like I talked about that home value snapshot once a year. I mean, once a year can be huge. I can get you guys hooked up with HomeBot as well if you're not already. HomeBot sends that once a month for them, where they can sit there, they can track their interest rate, they can track the value, the estimated value of their house, all of that stuff. Educational content that can go on Facebook, that can be a link to a YouTube, that can be, you can embed that right in your email if you want. Just good information because again, knowledge is power, right? And then client appreciation events. If you're going to throw like a cider and donut party in the fall, a Christmas party where, you hand out just, hey, we're going to do some cookie decorating, anything along those lines. And even just sending little small thank you gifts can be big, once a year, because I know that there's rules on paying for somebody's, referrals, but that same agent that said, "Hey, I send birthday cards out," he also will send out little like trinkets. Like he'll send out like a little. I think one time there's those Rock'em Sock'em robots, and they went on the kid's fingers, and there's just a little thumb thing that they did. But it was like I don't know, a $2 gift off of Amazon, and he bought 100 of them one time, and he sends that out to every single family that's having a kid that's having a birthday party, because then they can sit there and do their little Rock'em Sock'em robots. And then a big one, and this is something I'm working on that my marketing team is saying, hey, Mike, you really have to do this. Comment on your people's posts, sharing helpful content, and making sure that you stay visible. But the commenting on people's posts is really big because the more you do that, it's just a simple way to stay top of mind. They're like, oh, hey, Shannon commented on my post. She's a realtor. It's not what they're thinking, but they're like, that's so cool that she's keeping up with me. So here's kind of some scripts, right? I talked about the hard ask and the soft ask. So the hard ask is oftentimes, do you know of anyone who is looking to buy a house? Do you know anyone else who has talked about selling their house? That is very hard, as blunt, to the point, and some people just don't take very well to that. Instead, you can try, if you ever hear of someone who wants to sell. But the hard part is that's kind of an in one ear, out the other, because they're like, oh, yeah, yeah, for sure. But when you're throwing all of these actions together and you're saying, if you ever hear of someone, because you're already top of mind, that's where you're going to start seeing more wins. Because you're top of mind, you're going to start seeing more referrals because you've been doing all the other action steps along the way. Another good one, this actually came up from ChatGPT, was, hey, I love working with friends and families of my clients. So if anyone ever needs advice, right? Super soft, simple. If anyone ever needs advice, I'm here simply to be a resource as well. I post this on Facebook all the time. Hey, there's a ton, around Grand Rapids, if someone's like, hey, who's the best realtor around? And you get, gosh, 250, 300 agents that comment, that you have to shut the commenting off. Or, hey, who's the best lender? And there's a whole bunch of people out there. I just say, hey, there's a bunch of great lenders out there. I totally understand that. If you're looking for just some solid advice, you absolutely don't have to use me. I just want to make sure, help you make sure you're making the right choice. And do I win every deal because of that? No. But I have probably this year gotten 3 or 5 people to reach out. And I think I got 2 new deals because of it. Is it crazy good? No, but it takes 10 seconds to post that on Facebook or to say that to somebody. So just being willing to be that resource, letting them know, hey, I'm willing to just give advice, right? I'm willing, you don't have to pay me for the advice. I'm willing to give it out for free. I'm here to be a resource. It's a really good way that I have found that people have been much more willing to listen and to send people your way. Social media, some other conversations you could have. Ask your past clients, hey, if you're going to share, if you ever share your home journey online, tag me, right? When people move into a new home, they love to share that on Facebook. Just simply ask, hey, tag me. I love celebrating with my clients, and I'd love to see what you do to this house. Hey, you put new floors in. If you take a picture of that, tag me. I want to see the changes that you to the house. Because now every time that your clients tag you in a photo, their friends are like, who is this person? They click on it, they see you're a realtor, and they think that it's cool that, they may ask your client, hey, who is this person? How was your experience with them? And it's just another way to potentially get in touch with you. It's going to just really create that organic visibility without sounding salesy. Hey, I want to be with you through the process. I want to see the changes you make to the house. You don't have to text me pictures, right? If you're sharing them online, just tag me in the post. I would love to see that. Um, and then there's the follow-up script. This is kind of that 6 month, year down the road. Hey, like I had mentioned before, just ran a quick market update for your neighborhood. Would you like me to send it over? People always want to know what their house is worth now. Or this is another one. Hey, have you done anything to the house? New flooring, new cabinets, new, have you redone the kitchen, the bathroom, anything like that a couple years down the road? I would love to give you a market analysis of your house, because it could be another way. Either A, they're going to think how great it is that you're willing to just give them advice, give them knowledge, or they're going to get that advice, they're going to get that knowledge, and they're going to say, holy cow, that's really cool. Maybe we should think about selling. That's how I got into looking to sell my house next year. Um, I, I used Zillow, the Zestimate, and I couldn't believe the dollar amount that it showed me. And I went to a realtor and I said, hey, what's the chances that this is actually real? Like, well, let me run a quick little market analysis. And they're like, it comes in right around, yeah, right in that range. And I went home, I said, Julie, I think we need to sell our house. And she's like, why? I said, because we have so much equity in our house, it actually makes sense. Um, but really, I mean, it worked on me, and it's not a script that I expected would work on me being in the industry and using the Zillow estimate, to be fair. Not ashamed of it, a little ashamed of it because I've worked with so many realtors, but it's just, it's another way to potentially put you in front of another deal. So kind of like I had mentioned before, I can hook you guys up with HomeBot, which does send those monthly updates to clients. I've also heard Home IQ is really good. If it's something that you guys isn't off, it's not something that I have never used Home IQ. It seems to be that it's either HomeBot or Home IQ. Kind of depends on the person that they like them a little bit differently. But definitely just kind of some things to look at, because then that's really a mindless thing that you guys don't have to actively be doing every month. And then financial advisors can be a really good place to get some business. And if you know them or if you have heard about them from somebody, the first phone call literally is just, hey, my client so and so uses you as a financial advisor. They speak really highly of you. I love what you're doing for them. You seem to be a great leader in the community. I've heard great things about the level of service you provided them. Can I bring you a cup of coffee, or can we meet for a cup of coffee to chat more about how we can work together? You give them praise first, and then you ask to go grab coffee. Financial advisors, if you guys can get in working with financial advisors and almost be a preferred partner, if you will, for the financial advisors, that's a huge point because, or it can be a huge win, because while they may not send you a lot of business, the business they send you is good business 9 times out of 10. Oh, sorry about that. Builders. Builders are very hard to get in with. But when I was looking at the scripting, I thought this was actually pretty brilliant. Hey, my clients are always looking for houses. I know not all new construction is listed in the MLS. It may not be completed yet. Do you have a list of what may not be listed or that you have coming up? They're either going to say yes or no, or hey, everything's on the MLS. Sometimes they are a brick wall and you can't get past it. But the goal is to kind of keep trying and don't give up, depending on what your resources, how you guys want to be with that. Another one, once they answer, if they say, hey, yes, would you mind if I come take a look at what you're building? I may have a pre-approved buyer who would love your community. You may or may not, right? I may have somebody who would love your community. They get there, they're going to show you around a little bit. You get to talking with them, and hopefully you just kind of, again, organically grow that relationship where they're like, holy cow, I really like talking with you. I really like what you had to say, blah, blah, blah. You don't specifically have to ask for business, but there's your first way to kind of get in the door, build that organic relationship, and kind of go out from there. Asking lenders. There's actually a lender here, works for Arbor Financial Credit Union. He and I do a lot of business together. We're in competition, but we also do business together. And we will call each other and say, hey, listen, I don't have something that fits this. Do you? He called me up a couple weeks ago and he said, hey, I was talking to an agent. This program just became available again. Sounds like you may have somebody that you've been struggling with on an approval that this may help them out some more. It's okay to ask lenders for business, but I will also tell you, we're probably not going to be the best source of business, right? But when you say, hey, what business opportunities do you have for this year? Or what business opportunities do you have for us for this month? A lot of that is, hey, I've mentioned it to a couple people. Hey, if you've had a house sitting on the market for 30 days, or if you know of one that's been sitting on the market for 30 days, I want to help you sell that house. I want to help one of your other agents sell that house. Or if you have a buyer that might be interested in that house, but they're just not happy with the payment, I am more than happy to give that 1% temporary buy down. So 1% lower interest rate for the first year to help your clients get into that home. You never know what a lender may come up with that they've been working on, that they've been pitching, that they've been selling that could actually help them out down the road. And then anytime that you are asking for business, if you recently got a new certification, or it's a certification you've been using a lot more, military relocation certification, pricing strategy advisor. I forget I don't know the proper terminology for this, but people that are looking to like move into a retirement home, apparently there's a whole certification for that as well. Hey, I just wanted to let you know I just received my blank certification. This helps me do this for potential buyers or sellers. If you have any friends, family, coworkers that would like to hear more about this, I'd love to give them my specialized service. Again, take this and make it yours. But being able to say, hey, I got a new certification, that means that you're always working, that you're looking to grow, looking to be better. People will respect that. And it's amazing when you actually give a specific request, a specific example of how you can help somebody, that it triggers something in their brain that they're like, oh, you know what? I have this. I'm in a leads group every Tuesday morning, and we go through around, we go and we ask. We have to bring an ask for the week. And I've noticed that the more specific the ask is, the higher chance that I have. Granted, it was my grandmother. I referred my grandmother out to about four different people. It was a um, Social Security analyst. It was a trust attorney, an estate attorney who works on their trusts. Somebody who is willing to go and take her driver's license away for me because it probably needs to happen pretty gosh darn soon, and then somebody who specializes in basically shopping for I don't want to say assisted care facilities. They're not quite at that assisted care facility yet, but basically shopping for that. So it was very interesting. I mean, they each one of those people gave me a very specific. They had a very specific ask, and that same day I was like, my grandma probably needs her license away. My dad was talking about putting her in a home. She has a lot of money and who knows where it's going. She thinks she probably knows where it's going, but she probably hasn't looked at her retirement plan in 15 years. And so it's crazy. The more specific of an ask that you guys can get, the higher probability that you have of getting a referral back from that. So now it's 10:35. Probably got about 10 minutes left here to talk about some marketing, 10, 15 minutes. So we're perfectly on track. I think I forgot to mention this. If you guys do have questions, I do not have the chat up, but feel free to, now I have the chat up. So feel free to put them in the chat. But yeah, talk about marketing here a little bit. So the biggest thing, and we can talk about this a little bit more on another call if anyone's interested, but the biggest thing that we want to talk about with marketing is how you're going to target your market. Target your marketing. You want to target them to different pillars of your business, right? Who are your ideal customers? The first time home buyers? Are you looking for sellers, move up buyers, move down buyers, investors, relocations, life changes, divorces, things like that? You really want to focus, how am I going to market to my pillars of business? Who are my ideal customers? And then you want to go through and target those. What is their story? Where do they want to live? Why do they want to live there? And now you're not, what's interesting about this is you're not asking them, where do you want to live and why? When you're marketing, you're trying to answer these questions. Sherry, you're up in Greenville. Shannon, you're up in Harrison. Why do people want to live there? What are they looking for in this market? Now you want to take that social media or you want to take these questions and build your social media marketing and your scripting around the story that you are trying to complete. All of your clients have a story. They don't know how to finish it. They need help writing it. And that's where you guys come in. If you're going to build your social media scripting and marketing around the story that you are trying to complete this story for them. You want to answer, where do they want to live and why? What are their occupations of interest? What's their household income? What are their pain points? You don't ask your clients these questions. You answer them when you're targeting, when you're doing your marketing. You want to target your audience, the same audience, your pillars of business. How are you going to target them? How can you target divorce attorneys? How can you target financial planners? How can you target lenders? We're kind of hard to target, but how can you do that a little bit differently and then build your campaigns around that? Here's just a couple different marketing channels and content. So this is more of a, take a second and think about this, right? Are you marketing with purpose? How are you currently marketing your business? What's the cost? What's the return? What are your competitors doing? Is what you're doing, does what you're doing make sense? Think about your approach, your audience, your awareness. Do people know you? Do people know your company? Do people know what you are doing for your job? Educational content is really good for nurturing, staying in front of people. People want to know about their house. They want to know about the neighborhood, a lot of the other things that we kind of talked about before. And then your customer service. Are you marketing what people say about you? Do you ask for reviews? Because people want to know, people want to work with good people. They don't want to work with salesmen. They want to work with customer service people. We are in sales, but our job is customer service. So just kind of, this is more of a think about this. Are you marketing with a purpose? So we at Guild, and this is something I'm really trying to build into myself a little bit better too, is the idea of awareness marketing, right? It's the social media, the know, like, trust, being in front of people, making sure that people are aware of you and aware of what you do. Haven't had any water, so we're trying to supplement with coffee today. I apologize. So what is awareness marketing? It's really just being in front of people, right? Nobody really specifically has to get it. It's not direct. It's not specific to a client. It's not specific to past clients. It's not, but it can be specific to a group of people, right? And that's kind of where we look at that targeted marketing. This is going to be for the general public that you don't currently have a relationship with, but you're trying to target a specific demographic of people. You want to do that really just for branding. You want people to know who you are. You want people to know who your company is. And you want to be known as the go-to source for what you do and how you do it. Awareness marketing, it can be expensive and it's really hard to track your ROI on this. If you want to track your return on your investment, it can be very expensive. You really have to either individually or as a team, you have to be very clear, hey, how did you hear about us? Could be a Google search, could be we found you on Facebook, could be family and friends. It's hard to say, I saw you on a sign on the side of the road. I saw you on a billboard. Um, that's probably not where people are explicitly saying, I saw you on a billboard and decided to call. I got a flyer in the mail and decided to call. Because more often than not, this awareness marketing is a combination of all of that. It's everything that you have done to stay in front of people, to stay out, to keep your name out there, to keep you as that source of good information. But it is truly is kind of one of those pillars, if you will, of marketing is just making sure that the awareness is out there. The last thing you want to be is a realtor that nobody knows about or a company that nobody knows about. But it is really hard to track that return on your investment. It is important to, like, if you've never worked with them before, hey, how did you hear about me? Oh, I've seen you around. That's your awareness marketing. Hey, I got a flyer in the mail. That's my awareness marketing. Then there's educational marketing. And in just a second, I'll pop something in the chat here that I highly recommend everybody take. It's your sales archetype assessment. It's actually put together by one of the top producers here at Guild, one of the top producers. She's in the top 50 in the nation for producing loan officers. I mean, she does an insane amount of business, and she put together the sales archetype. And oddly enough, as a loan officer, it basically said I should not be a loan officer because I'm very good at the education side of things. It doesn't mean I shouldn't be a loan officer, but a lot of people, a lot of loan officers, they really like the science of the deal. They like the paperwork, and that is the thing I hate the most. Um, but I was very high in that educational because that's something that I pride myself in is walking people through the process. And so a lot of my social media has been about the educational side of things. So that's my marketing. It's really educating people on what you do and why you do it. I mean, you can, and then you just want to make sure that as you're building these out, that you're targeting them based on what it is. If it's a warm lead, it's someone that you're actively working with, talk them through like what's happening in home prices. Hey, it's the fall season, it's starting to slow down. Hey, it's still a seller's market, but here's what's working. And you can send different ideas out there, and you never know, even if it's a cold lead, somebody that you've worked with before or never worked with, you never know, hey, here's a win that we had this week, right? Never would have thought I got this done. And they're like, holy cow, you did that. Next thing you know, hopefully they're calling you. So educational marketing, educating people on what's working, educating people on like what's going on in the real estate world. Anytime I go to a family event, I go to my uncle's house, and every single time he's like, "Hey, rates come down yet?" I'm like, "Nope, no, they haven't." What do you think's going to happen? What do you think about this 50-year mortgage? I mean, everyone wants to know about real estate. Make sure that you are able to educate them um, as well, because people do, they just want to know. Why I guess I sorry, I already talked about this a little bit, but why do we do educational marketing? It gives people a reason to want to work with you, right? Here's a win, and they see a win that you guys had, and they want to reach out to you, and they want to be part of that win. But it also empowers your contacts to trust you as a resource. So how does it work? It's really just you are marketing educational content, social media, email blast, flyers, whatever it is, first time home buyer courses, things like that. The goal is when you're educating people, it triggers something in their brain that says, oh, hey, now is a good time to buy, or now is a good time to sell. And they're going to come back to you from something that you posted that was a little bit, it wasn't necessarily directly meant for that specific person, but it clicked in their brain because it made them think and it made them get to working on it. And then the nice part is that is something that you can track a little bit more, because if you are going to host an educational meeting that is a first time homebuyer course or a move up or a move down course, you can track that attendance. You can see how well that's working for you. You can see how many new potential buyers you get from that. If you use a Facebook or Meta business page, I guess now, you can track your social engagement. With your CRM, a lot of times you can track how many email opens you've had. And that's where last week when I did that Build Your Brand webinar, you can really brand that to you. You don't have to do much work on it. You can pretty well copy paste, check for any errors, make sure that it makes sense, send it out through your CRM, and your CRM should tell you how many people actually opened that email. And then there's service marketing. That's really your one-to-one communication. That's where you're getting personal with people. You're showing your customer service. You're following up with people. You're sending birthday cards. You're closing gifts for buyers, things like that. Your showings, your meetings, that buyer meeting or seller meeting, the first time that you meet with them. That's where you're showing your service. You're making it personalized. You're building it to one specific person. It's going to be your current clients, your past clients, your business partners. um, you don't really have to worry about your business partners, but I tell you what, title companies love when you give back to them to, hey, thank you so much for doing a great job on this, right? Your lenders, we like to be told that we did a good job too, believe it or not. I get satisfaction either way, but I know when people are like, hey, I can't believe, thank you so much for making this work. That was a hard deal, whatever it is. It makes me feel good that I was able to be a part of that. And it's really going to, especially if you do it right, right? It's not just a repetitive thing. If you do it right, it's going to help you to reinforce that relationship. The goal is really to set yourself apart and to make a lasting impact. It's not a one-time closing gift for your buyers. It's not a one-time closing gift for your sellers. What are you going to do to make sure that you make that lasting impact? It's hard. It does require discipline. Definitely, recommend setting tasks in your CRM, putting it in your calendar, setting time aside weekly to make sure that you're writing those letters, that you're ordering closing gifts, that you have everything ready to go. But it does take more time, but your return on that investment is going to be much better because people don't forget that stuff. So really kind of start wrapping this up a little bit, lead generation goals. You want to think of stuff outside the box. You want to concentrate, you're doing what other realtors aren't doing. You want to concentrate on what you're really good at. That's that sales archetype assessment. I'll put that in the chat. I'll send an email out to you guys later as well. And you want to think about every time that you're looking to generate these leads, view it as an opportunity for your business. What's going to work? Is it worth it? And then always look back on, did it work and was it worth it? Sometimes this can be trial and error. What Shannon's doing up in Harrison is going to be different than what Sherry's doing down in Greenville, which is going to probably be different than somebody in Traverse City doing work, somebody in Holland on the lakeshore. Concentrate on what you're good at, really dial into the people that you're looking to serve, the people that you're looking to work with, and build it out that way. So we've got 4 more of these coming. I think I kind of mentioned it. I'll be posting them on Facebook. Kind of keep an eye out for them. We'll do a social media one, a market opportunity one, relationships or partnerships that drive business, and selling ROI, selling the return on the investment. Just kind of some different goals out there to help you guys hopefully get in front of more people. The goal is every Monday at 10 o'clock, I'm going to be doing this. So if you guys, for the next 4 weeks, if you guys wanted to, I'm building these out every week. I'm building a new Zillow or a new Zoom meeting every week. So it is going to be a weekly thing. I mean, that is on my to-do list for today. Build another Facebook page, build another Zoom invite, get that sent out to everybody. But do you guys have any questions? Or is there anything that I didn't mention that you guys want to know more about?
Oh, I think you've done a great job. Thank you very much. I appreciate you inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, come on back next week.
I'm good too, Mike.
Cool. Well, I'll probably just email out the that sales archetype assessment for you guys rather than drop it in the chat because we are at the end here. Let me stop the recording.